How to remove a stuck faceplate on the 10x18 Central Machinery wood lathe sold by Harbor Freight.
Hi everybody, I ran into a problem with my Harbor Freight wood lathe. I have a 10x18 mini wood lathe that I got for Christmas for my daughter and myself. I am not an experienced wood turner. Faceplate got stuck on the spindle because probably the way I put it on. Anyway, it tightened up to the point where I could not remove it. However, as you can now see, it is loose and came off, and I'll tell you what I did to get it to come off. Apparently this is a very common problem. The solutions are not very specific, or I don't know, they didn't seem to apply to my situation very easily. I tried them all and none of them worked. However, I came across a Reddit thread, which I'll post to you in the description below, which gave me the answer. Try as I might, I could not hold this steady. If you look in the instruction book on how to remove the faceplate, it tells you to hold this tight and turn this. And they watch it come off. But mine was stuck so hard that I could not apply enough pressure with my hands. I tried wrenches. Now tried one of these. As you can see, I wrapped it with stretch wrap to see if I could get some friction, but there was no amount of pressure that was going to hold this tight. There was no locking mechanism that I could do it. The instructions, I think, even say, or not even instructions, but a lot of the YouTube videos said you definitely want to have the handle locked so it doesn't move. So you work on it, but there's no real good way to lock this. There's no locking button. So the key is in these holes right here. This is what you have to use to hold the spindle still.
So although I couldn't find any reference to it in the instruction manual, the knockout tool that comes with the Harbor Freight mini lathe actually has a tip that fits into these holes. So I went ahead and put it in there to hold the spindle in a locked position, but because it was so tight, it just bent. The tip put on the knockout tool is in no way strong enough to hold a lot of pressure if you really need to turn the faceplate hard. Instead, I used a socket wrench with a hex extension that had a pretty snug fit into the holes on the side of the faceplate, and that was able to hold it with a lot more leverage. And there's no way this socket wrench is bending.
So it's nice and snug like this. You see the handle is braced in between the gap here in the metal. That's going to hold it tight. So at this point, your wrench and turn it counterclockwise, and voila. With a little more pressure, it came off, but that's all I did, and that worked, and I wasted probably 2 hours trying to figure out a better way to do it, and I wish I would have stumbled on this Reddit forum sooner. So thank you, Reddit.